What if I told you that in one of the world's largest countries, nearly 95% of the land remains uninhabited? Welcome to Australia, a land where kangaroos outnumber people and vast deserts stretch far beyond the horizon. Despite its immense size and natural beauty, Australia's population is concentrated in just a few coastal cities, leaving most of the continent wild and empty. Today, we're exploring the fascinating reasons behind this surprising fact and why so much of Australia remains untouched by human hands. When it comes to population density, Australia stands out. As the sixth largest country by land area, you'd expect it to be bustling with people, but its population hovers around just 25 million. To put that into perspective, that's roughly the same population as North Korea, spread across a landmass twice the size of India. Australia's population density is about 0.30 persons per square kilometer. Yes, you heard that right, 0.30. Compare that to countries like China or the US, and you'll see a stark difference. It's no wonder Australia feels like one big, empty playground. More than half of Australia's population resides along the east coast, clustered near the Pacific Ocean. Most of these coastal dwellers live within just a few kilometers of the water's edge. This unique distribution makes Australia distinct when we consider how populations are spread in other countries. For instance, while over 90% of Americans live in urban areas, most Australians call one of 5 coastal cities home: Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth, or Adelaide. So, what's behind this extraordinary population distribution? Why do so many Australians choose to live along the coast while the interior remains almost completely deserted? The answers lie in Australia's geography and climate, which have played a massive role in shaping where people choose to live. Australia's geographical position is unique. When you look at a map, you'll see that Australia isn't just a country, it's an entire continent. It's the only place on Earth that's simultaneously a continent, an island, and a country. This triple status gives it a special place on the world stage, but it also comes with significant challenges, particularly when it comes to settling its vast interior. Australia's history of human habitation goes back tens of thousands of years, but it wasn't until the 17th century that Europeans, particularly the British, began exploring and charting the continent. Explorers like Abel Tasman and Captain James Cook mapped out Australia, setting the stage for what would become modern-day Australia. With nearly 3 million square kilometers of land bordered by the Pacific and Indian Oceans, Australia is a massive piece of real estate. Yet only a small fraction of it is hospitable for human settlement. Australia is one of the oldest land masses on Earth, at over 500 million years old. This ancient terrain has aged over time, leading to soil degradation and a reduced capacity for water retention. This, in turn, has resulted in widespread desertification, particularly in the interior, making it one of the driest continents on the planet.
Australia is home to 3 major deserts: the Gibson Desert, the Great Sandy Desert, and the Great Victoria Desert. Together, these deserts cover vast areas of the continent. The Great Victoria Desert alone stretches across about 1 million square kilometers. In total, Australia has 10 deserts scattered across its interior. The lack of significant mountain ranges means that there's very little rainfall, exacerbating the dry climate. As a result, only about 3% of Australia's population lives in the roughly 70% of the country that is either desert or receives minimal rainfall. In stark contrast, Australia's coastal regions, particularly on the east coast, are much more habitable. More than 90% of Australia's population lives along the coast, where the climate is more favorable for farming and living. The Great Dividing Range, a mountain range that runs along the eastern coast, plays a critical role in this. It blocks moisture-laden winds from the Pacific Ocean, causing them to drop their rain on the eastern side of the continent. This natural barrier creates a more temperate climate with abundant rainfall, making the east coast an ideal place for settlement. The fertile land and abundant freshwater in these coastal regions are significant draws. While the interior of Australia poses significant challenges due to its arid conditions, agriculture remains a crucial part of the country's economy. The Darling River Basin in southeastern Australia, for instance, supports about 3 million people who rely on its water for farming and other activities. As the 6th largest country in the world, Australia boasts a vast agricultural economy, with most arable land concentrated in the eastern half of the continent. However, even in the fertile regions, water scarcity is a significant challenge. Despite receiving rainfall, the flow of rivers like the Darling is often insufficient to meet demand, especially under the increasingly unpredictable conditions brought about by climate change. These challenges drive more people to settle along the coast, where water is more reliable and the climate is less extreme. Interestingly, about 100 million years ago, Australia was connected to Antarctica. As the continents drifted apart, Australia's climate began to change dramatically. While Antarctica became an icy wilderness, Australia evolved into one of the hottest continents on Earth. Some of the world's highest recorded temperatures have occurred in Australia's interior. The northern part of the country experiences tropical conditions, while the southern regions benefit from a more temperate climate thanks to winter rains. With such a wide range of climates, it's no surprise that most people prefer to settle along the milder southeast coast. Job opportunities also play a major role in population distribution. Major coastal cities like Sydney and Melbourne attract people because of the greater career prospects available there. After the discovery of gold in the 19th century, Europeans flocked to Australia, especially along the coast, in search of better economic opportunities. Today, the majority of Australians live along the coast, drawn by better living conditions, economic opportunities, and the more favorable climate. It's also worth noting that Australia's Indigenous peoples have lived on this land for tens of thousands of years. Indigenous Australians have a deep connection to the land, and their history is a significant part of the country's cultural identity. However, the harsh conditions of the interior have always made it a challenging place to live, even for those who are deeply connected to the land. Australia's low population density and coastal concentration are the results of a complex interplay of geographical, climatic, and historical factors. The dry, harsh interior of the continent contrasts sharply with the more temperate and livable conditions along the eastern coast, shaping the way Australians live today. Yet, this vast, uninhabited land has always fascinated people, drawing adventurers, researchers, and those curious about the untouched wilderness that covers most of the continent. Despite its challenges, Australia's interior remains a place of beauty and mystery, a land that has resisted human habitation but continues to captivate those who dare to explore it. Whether it's the harsh deserts, the stunning outback, or the unique wildlife that calls this land home, there's something about Australia's uninhabited lands that speaks to the human spirit of adventure. Australia's unique population distribution, with nearly 95% of the land remaining uninhabited, is a testament to the continent's harsh climate and challenging geography. The majority of Australians live along the coast, where the conditions are more favorable, while the interior remains a vast and largely untouched wilderness. This fascinating dynamic between the livable coast and the inhospitable interior shapes not only where people live, but also how they connect with the land. If you enjoyed this exploration into Australia's unique population distribution, give this video a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe for more fascinating insights into our world. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more videos on the incredible geography and history that shape our planet.